So what do? I eat 3 meals a day. I go to school. I go to college. I do a career. I get married. I have kids. I'm imagining that in retirement, I'll do things that I would want to because now I can't. And so forth and so on. And I live a life in the box. I live a life in a box. And everyone has an opinion, and everyone has an opinion, writes it on Facebook and Instagram, and they write it with a strong voice. And they also see other people that have another opinion and say bad words about those that have, or at least thumbs down, at least, we don't like this. So, and
Or a
the
laughing
laughing
emoji.
emoji, sometimes sarcastic, or the angry face. Oh, the end. So
Yeah.
if you look at
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
emojis, and that's all the emotions we have, and it's really or most people live in. So, long story short, that's the story I lived in. Oh, I'm a successful photographer, successful
The
career. I'm
box.
driving a nice car. I'm kind to people, and that's good enough. I go to church 2 times a year, and Easter and Christmas. Like, I'm just doing things according to what is around me. But now, left in the jungle alone, parts of my training was to stay 10 days in part of the jungle alone. Anduro would leave me and would come back and get me because there was no other way I would find my way out of where I was. I fell apart. My reality fell apart. I would look around me, and the only thing I could see was like afraid of if I was going to see a jaguar or some wild animal. And there were a lot of wild animals. It's the jungle. It's the jungle. It's like they're all there. And all my meetings with animals were wonderful. No animal actually ever threatened me. But my city person thought that the animals are dangerous because that's what I was taught. By far not true. Of course, if you corner a grizzly or if you attack a puma, it's going to defend itself and will create damage. But overall, no animal will choose to attack a human being, and that's something to be said because it looks a lot like paradise, really. All animals will eventually would like to exchange love and affection, as I mentioned, of course. But here I am alone in 10 days of silence and 10 days of aloneness and 10 days beyond despair, having to get out of despair, because it's one thing, you can't stay in an emotion for longer than an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. You just distract yourself. You think you're going to be forever in anger. You just park it somewhere so it lives in your liver. You have the stress, you can't be expressing it, so you park it in your spleen. So now you're really damaging all these organs while you're not expressing it. You're in the box doing, oh, I'm going to work, I'm driving back home, I'm in the supermarket, I'm in the bags, in all this illusionary life. And then you realize that damage done to the internal organs is maybe many times not reversible, is not possible to heal it, and definitely not through some of the methods that we know. Again, having said that, I think that it's really important that we address Western medicine and Eastern and holistic medicine. It's really important that we arrive. And when I came out of this aloneness in there is that the box crumbled. And, I always thought like, oh, I'm a great photographer, but I still don't feel like I'm reaching my full potential. Have you ever had that feeling? And I talk, yeah, it's like, yes, because your full potential doesn't exist in the box of this illusionary idea of what humanity should be, depending on what city you live in. Because if you're in Athens, Greece, they say this is the way you should be. Very different if you're in New York, very different if you're in California, but very different if you're in Peru. The norms are very, very different. What expected behavior and all that are very different if you're in India. And if you behave like an Indian in the United States, they're going to be like, you're weird. Something wrong with you. So we all get into that box and behave as Facebook instructs us to. Stay in the lineage of what is common sense.